Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today I'm going to take a quick look at Intel. The company just reported earnings or later last week, and the stock went down about 11.68% on Friday. So in today's episode, I want to do the following. First, I want to take a quick look at what happened, why is stock price down. Then I want to take a quick look at what kind of guidance they gave for the upcoming quarter and some of the cool products that Intel has coming along its way. If this is your first time here, make sure to hit the thumbs up, make sure to hit the subscribe button, check out the pinned comment where I have 10 free stock ideas for you right now. So let's get started. If this is your first time here, my name is Jose Najarro. I am a long-term tech, and I wouldn't say tech investor, I'm just a long-term investor. Most of my portfolio is in the tech semiconductor industry. I am an electrical engineer, so that's the background that I come behind. So semiconductors are usually my favorite companies to research and stuff. So let's jump right into it. We can see Intel down 11.68% right now. It's definitely been a horrible year for Intel. It's pretty much flat year to date, and we can see from its 52-week high, the stock is down over 27.54%. So let's try to understand what happened. So for quarter three, they gave revenue of 18.1 billion, and this was slightly below their guided due to their guidance, and that was due to shipping and supply constraints that impacted their business. So overall, not only the semiconductor shortage, but other supply chain issues and other components outside in the computer industry needed for computers are also seeing a bit of a slowdown. Right now, I think it's a lot of stuff dealing with network. So companies, if they don't have all the components, they're not going to order things like Intel's products until they have a full list of components to make computers. So quarter three revenue was 18.1 billion. And like they mentioned, this was slightly below expectations due to industry-wide component supply constraints that primarily impacted their enterprise customers and area softness in PRC, including cloud, as customers adapt to new regulations. And this is an important one. Intel, if you're not familiar, they do have a strong presence in the cloud market in China. And China has definitely seen a bit of regulations right now with the gaming department due to stricter gaming rules. And Intel is saying that because of those kind of restrictions in China and stuff like that affecting gaming rules, clouding companies in China are not using it's impacting the enterprise revenue, right? So that's definitely something to keep in mind of. Do you want 10 free stock picks right now? Well, if you do, let's take a quick listen to today's sponsor, a great reason why I'm able to provide so much content to you guys for free. I want to thank the Motley for sponsoring this video. Motley is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with the Motley Fool to bring you 10 free stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Stock Advisor has beat the market by more than 4x. Go to fool.com/Jose to get your free 10 stock picks now. So now that we understand why stock price went down, after earnings, you can see a nice amount of analysts came out and gave a price target decrease. We can see here from $60 to $53. From $70 to $60, from $58 to $55, from $70 to $55, from $67 to $55. So a numerous amount of analysts after earnings came out and say, hey, this is not what we were expecting, so we're going to decrease the price target for Intel. I believe all this negativity is kind of created the perfect storm to really drop 11.68% on the stock. So that's the first thing I want to take a quick look at. Now what I want to do is I actually want to look at this company's upcoming products, and I think this is pretty interesting, right? So some of their upcoming products this quarter, these upcoming months or year is right now they have the Tiger Lake. This is their notebook CPU and it's the fastest ramping. They're doing really good there. The upcoming is the Alder Lake. This is going to be a new generation. I keep hearing Alder Lake is going to be their new CPU for desktop and mobiles, and this one is getting a lot of traction online, right? We're seeing a lot of YouTubers and a lot of tech hardwares really say great things about Alder Lake. Even the CEO says that, hey, yes, some of our competitors were strong in the CPU market, but with Alder Lake, that competition is no longer going to be there. Obviously, this product still hasn't come out. I'm personally waiting for some laptops in Alder Lake to see if I should get a new laptop. That'll be interesting. They also have Sapphire Rapids, which is their data center CPU that's expected to start production in Q1. Later on, they also have, for example, they are moving into the discrete graphics card. Intel has always been in the integrated graphics card. So the graphics card as a whole segment, it's not new to Intel, but more as a discrete graphics card is new, and that's Intel Alchemist, which will expect to be in shelves in Q1 of 2022. Then they have Mount Evans. Mount Evans is the first IPU infrastructure processing unit, I believe, and this is a way to kind of it's kind of a way this new chip allows certain components or certain process to be alleviated from the data process, from the data center CPUs, and kind of free up more space. So then that increases the performance of other components as well. So Mount Evans is pretty cool. Then they have Ponte Vecchio, which is their high performance computing GPU. So they are definitely entering pretty hard in the GPU market for both for just the regular consumer, the data center, their new IPU, which is a new chipset. They are also coming out with new CPUs for both consumers and data centers. So Intel did give us insight of how they're going to continue to move forward. It's pretty much a four pillar plan. First is expand their internal and external manufacturing. Second is to open out doors to be a world-class foundry. 3 is to gain process leadership, and 4 is to deliver leadership products in every category they compete. So number 1, expand their internal and external manufacturing. So what does this mean? So Intel right now, they do manufacture some of their own chips, but they also go to external plants as well to create their chips. And they're continuing to work with that. Some of the new, I believe, the GPUs that they're working, certain components within the GPU, the Alchemist and the Monte, whatever it's called, those are being made by another. Some of the tiles are made by another manufacturer. So they're kind of working that way. Next, open their doors to be a world-class foundry. So recently, Intel just opened up or just kind of touch ground on building the new plants in Arizona, I believe 3 months earlier than expected. And this foundry is something that takes a long time. For them to build the foundry is first multiple months of building the foundries to up to 2 years. Then after that, they have to make sure that customers have to take a look at all the processing, need to move into a new foundry, need to accept a new model and stuff like that. So it's a multiple thing that I believe the foundry business is not going to take any effect within the next 3 years at least, maybe even more than that. And 4, deliver leadership products in every category they talk about. Like I mentioned, they have things like Alder Lake, they have Sapphire Lakes coming out, Sapphire Rapids, which is expected to have production Q1. They also have everything else that we mentioned earlier on today's episode. So next, what I want to see is this company's upcoming quarter. So this is pretty exciting. For the Q4, they expect $18.3 billion. This guidance is a bit lower than expected, right? It's supposed to be down 3% year over year. No one wants to see that. Earnings per share is 90 cents, expected to be down 39% year over year. For the full year 2021 outlook, they expect revenue to be up only 1% year over year, and earnings per share to be up 4% year over year. So you can see this is not a growth company. But what I thought was super interesting is that Intel believes that within the next 4 to 5 years, they can actually be a double-digit compounded annual growth rate company of somewhere between 10 to 12%. And I think that's actually pretty interesting and something investors should keep an eye out, right? This is strong confidence. Right now, this is a company that's barely growing. Right, this most recent quarter, this most recent year, they're only expected to grow 1% year over year. The main way they're trying to grow this double-digit compounded annual growth rate over the next 4 to 5 years is through all these products that they are moving into. Right, the high performance computing data center, the new generation, the new CPUs, the new GPUs that they're working both for discrete and for both for consumers and for data centers, the IPU, which is also brand new, the manufacturing. Even though they say the manufacturing portion does not, in their earnings call, they did mention the manufacturing portion is not a big player within this next 4 to 5 years. That's something in a longer time frame. So that's actually pretty interesting. For me, Intel, in my opinion, is still going to be a very, very quiet stock, especially for the next few years until we start to see that closer to double-digit annual compounded growth, right? Because right now you're saying you're going to do that. That's great. I like hearing stuff like that. But first, you have to show me that you're moving in the right direction. I do believe Alder Lake, which is the new CPU, can move the stock price a bit. But for the multiple year, it all depends on how Alder Lake does, which is coming out right now, Q3. Mobile should be coming out later in the quarter. We also have the Alchemist Arc GPU. We also have the data center GPUs and all these stuff, right? It all depends on how they move, on how well the market accepts them, and how it starts to show in the company's top line numbers, right? And if those things don't execute perfectly, it can definitely be, I want to say, negative or bearish to Intel's stock price. We can say Intel right now is definitely, I want to say, sitting at attractive levels. It was sitting at attractive levels before. I do believe it might be a bit of overcorrection in my opinion, but at the same time, I do believe for the next few months, it could be dead money until we see some better results in their top line numbers. And here I just want to take a quick look at some of their financial metrics. We can see price to sales ratio is one of the lowest it's been since January of 2020. Same could be said for forward EV to EBITDA ratio. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good night, and see you next time.